Y'all know what it is, it's the usual suspect 650-50 draw. Buy your tickets now for your chance at winning half the pie. Cash App, $, usual 50-50. Tickets on sale for $10 for one, $20 for 3 tickets, and $50 for 10 tickets. Put your desired amount, name or alias, as well as your email address, and your tickets will be set. We announce the winning ticket numbers every other Friday on Supreme Beats Boxing Talk Bullshit on the Beltway, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDDC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDDC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
Y'all know what it is, it's the Find the Boxer game. Purchase a box for a chance at winning $500. One of 54 boxes has a missing boxer inside. Purchase your box or boxes by Cash App, $, usual 50-50. Include your box number, name, and email address. Your box number will be confirmed and sent directly to your email. Each box is $20, with a 1 in 54 chance of winning. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDDC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDDC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
offer the best grooming products for you, Dress on natural and handcrafted too. We wanna help be your swagger, your style, class, and luxury. Make our products tailor-made for you with high quality, yeah. So get in style with the black, yeah. Company, give you swagger, style, class, and luxury, yeah. Black, gentleman, black, yeah. Company, give you swagger, style, class, and luxury, yeah.
Located at www.theblackgent.com.
Yo. What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back, welcoming you to a later day edition of Answering the Bell with Stormybman for this Sunday, June 29th, 2025. This is the Sunday call-in show, and it's number 170 in the series of call-ins, and I just needed the extra hours this morning. You guys, I had to work yesterday, and it kind of pooped me out. I'm getting old, man, and I put out a lot of content, and on the receiving end, there's not a lot of reward. So I have to think for myself and take care of myself and know that, I can put out what I can, but y'all come second. You know what I'm saying? Third, maybe last. You know what I'm saying? You don't put Stormy first, because a lot of y'all get up just like them folks I see when I'm on my commute to work in the morning with your BS early, huh? So you can wait around for Stormy B-Man. That's right. And if you don't wait, there's always the replay gang, huh? Yeah. And the whole point of that is this. I'm taking care of me, huh? Because you ain't taking care of me, huh? I'm taking care of me. And that's the way it's going to be. And that's for whoever it is intent for. If I threw a brick and it hit your foot, go see the doctor, huh? Yeah. I don't even want to hear you say ow. Huh? Hold your hand over your mouth. Huh? Don't make a peep. Yeah! So, call-in show is still the same. Going to talk a little bit about the fight cards that took place this weekend. What may be on the horizon. We had some surprises. Huh? A little bit of, I didn't see that coming. Huh? Yeah! Like Pietro said in Avengers Age of Ultron. What? You didn't see that coming? Yeah! So, it is what it is. Salute to the loyal subjects who have decided to tune in. Huh? Don't forget to like and share the content. Also, there's a few links there that I put in at the top of the chat to let you guys know that, there is another option for donation, which is called, the tip feature for Streamlabs. You could click that link there and go to Streamlabs. If you decide to leave a monetary donation to the channel, please do so there. If you do, you'll see a icon come up on the screen announcing your name, what you donated, and I get a chance to shout you out over the airwave for that. Yeah. Not trying to shake nobody down extra or anything like that. It's just another means of being able to do it. I do believe there's a credit card accepting there. It's a cash accepting. So bank, whatever, draft, whatever. So I just forget most times to mention that particular feature because the Cash App has been disabled for the foreseeable future. That's just not the Cash App, but the what do you call it? The Super Chat. Cash App is still available. I just messed up. I meant to say Super Chat has been disabled, but Cash App is still there. PayPal is still there. So if you leave a PayPal donation, you have to write in the chat PayPal Stormy, and then I'll read your donation through the PayPal. Cash App will come up on the Cash App feature as always. So welcome. Good Sunday afternoon to you guys. I hope that you've had a pretty prosperous weekend, had a chance to enjoy these bouts that we took in. And like I said, it all began on Friday night and carried us straight through last night. Although the culmination of the cards from yesterday were not quite as what we may have hoped, with the performances of Paul versus Chavez Jr. So it is what it is. This is why you watch the sport. That was a novelty act for a main feature, but everything that occurred before that was along the lines of boxing, and why boxing is the theater of the unexpected. So we'll get into that a little bit, you know what I mean? Talking about what happened, and maybe you guys will be able to shed some light on it with your thoughts and feelings about what transpired. I know me, I was just barely able to get my sparkling water down with the first chug when I saw what happened when the card opened up. So good thing I didn't spit it out, because I was like, whoa, you know, and it is what it is. So that being said, what's going on, you guys? What's going on, man? We out here this Sunday. We out here. So welcome. Let me do a quick roll call, see what we got out there. Freedom's March came in early. Universal Truth is out there as well. Rod Neal, Red 41, ATX is out there. The Messenger 215 is back. You know, even though Stormy was, you know, sharpening it up yesterday, you know, trying to ask my man, you know, about going to, what is that, Bridge of White? Man, don't get Stormy started. I must break you, you know. Ravens Nation in the building. What's going on? Shower Liars back out there saying salute and blessings. Stormy in chat. Right back at you, Shower. Hope you're doing well. Jamal Davis in the building saying salute, Stormy. Peace and blessings, brother. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Peace and blessings on to you as well. And the brother, Coach Hudson, you know what I'm saying? He who is coming on quite strong. And listen, I keep telling you guys, see, with brothers like that, we in good hands. Because, you know, Stormy getting old, man. I can't fight all y'all battles for you, but I can draw up some blueprints, and I'm going to draw some blueprints up that can point right there in the direction of that brother there, Coach Hudson, because y'all need to pay attention to what he's saying, He got some intelligence going on there. When you got brothers like him and Champside and Freedom's March and these young brothers coming along like that, doing what they doing, hey, you in good hands, Any of that other foolishness, and y'all gotta fend for yourself. Yeah. You just gotta know what's good to be on your plate, What's nourishment, edifying and fortifying, And the other stuff is a lot of fat, and it's a lot of, you know, excess, They make you, you know, unwell, Create, you know, blood pressure and, you know, blood sugar problems. Yeah. EJ20 in the building, back with us saying big up Stormy B, man. What's happening with you? Yeah. So talking about the cards from this weekend, man, And it all began on a Friday night, didn't it? Yeah, where we had, ESPN doing something with the super middleweights, where Christian and Billy was brought back before us right out of Canada, Quebec, the brother Eye of the Storm boxing promotions over there. They have a lot of young fighters that they are featuring coming out of there. And man, let me tell you, I enjoyed those bouts because there were fighters that I were unfamiliar with, but they still performed. And I keep telling you guys to watch the sport because you get a chance to see sometimes those who aren't necessarily featured, but should be and will possibly be. And it gives you hope that the sport is in good hands. I mentioned yesterday in my live, my late post-fight show, which was an early day live yesterday before yesterday's cards. There was a brother on that card, a super middleweight by the name of Wilkins Matthew. Wilkins Matthew. Good young fighter. And he apparently is one to watch. Also, there were heavyweights on this card with Mbili versus Selecki. The big giant monster Arslanbek Makhmudov, whom Ajit Kabiel brought down to reality a while back in a Riyadh season event. He's back with a first round KO over a gentleman by the name of Ricardo Brown. And then we had some other fights where, listen, Zolt Magadan took on John Arobio. That ended in a first round KO. So those guys were really ready to get busy, yesterday on that Quebec card. They even had that guy, Sandy Masood, taking on Christopher Guerrero. And Guerrero in that fight he started out pretty strong. And then Mossad, he was coming on and was starting to sweep the later rounds. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, Guerrero stops him in the 10th round. I'm like, man, see, this is what I be talking about. You got to just watch the sport of boxing. Because just when you think everything is going like you think it's going, And to open up that card, you had the super lightweights with champion Layla Badouin taking on Elham Mikhailid. And she got a 6th round TKO stoppage where she just took Mikhailid on up out of there, man. And she's looking at the lights of Amanda Serrano. Hey, man, listen. I love what's happened, man. That is something that I would look forward to. These young ladies in boxing today, man, if the guys don't get it on, let me tell you, the ladies will get it on. They will. But yeah, and we also know that Mbili ran like a freight train, run away on the tracks over Mac Selecki, and it was just a total annihilation of Mr. Selecki. He shouldn't have even bought a ticket, And when I say ticket, I ain't talking about a ticket to the fight. I'm talking about an airline ticket, Because he may as well have mailed that one in because Mbili took him out, I think I saw traces of boo-boo all across the ring and skid marks on the back of his trunks after Mbili unleashed those body shots on him. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? If he dies, he dies. That's that kind of thing. So Christian Mbili now is the what do they call it? Interim WBC interim super middleweight champion, meaning that he should be first in line to get a shot at the winner of Canelo versus Crawford, huh? And some parts of me wanted to be Canelo, to force Canelo in there against a guy that's gonna dog him, bang him, beat him up bad, brutalize him, and leave him as a smear mark on the history of the super middleweight division. I'm sorry, but I'm biased like that. I would like to see the redhead cheetah get his, huh? He's been getting by, but you know that's what it is. You don't get away, you get by. And you keep on messing around and somebody gonna get you, huh? It might even be Bud Crawford get him, huh? He is so busy running from the Davids, huh? From the Bible. Yeah, he's running, but you can run, but you can't hide, huh? Benavidez and Morrell. Yeah, they got something for him. And M. Billy, huh? And it would be fitting that a brother by the name of M. Billy, who has that French background, and let me tell you about them Frenchmen. They've been whooping up on them European fighters over there. Now they ready to start whooping on some of these Mexican fighters over here, because you already had Bruno Sirachi taking care of Jaime, huh? Peds Munguia. Yeah. So it might be just fitting that Canelo get his comeuppance by Christian. Yeah. That's what I like to see, huh? If I'm biased, so be it, huh? I will say I'm biased, huh? I'm not prejudiced, but I am biased, huh? Because I want to see the dirty scumbags get theirs in the sport of boxing. And all of them can't get it at the same time. But in due time, that's what we call for. Geo James Khalil in the building. What's happening with you, brother? Quan Big Guns out there. He says, and Billy needs better opposition. I can't believe they thought Selecki would be a problem for M. Billy. Nobody felt that he would be a problem, but it's a fight that they could make, and the money he did take. You understand? See, in Billy's people, they kind of small fries. They ain't got all that money to be offering a lot of people, but you got a whole pond full of ducks out there at super middleweight there, Quan Big Guns. So, you know, don't blame Mac. Mac is just earning a living, huh? He just wasn't up for the task. But I would love to see him, Billy, bang on Canelo like that, because he sure as hell won't fight him like Skull fought him, huh? The Screaming Skull. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's from Cameroon, but he's adopted, you know, by the French and the Quebecs, you know, Quebecans. That's where he is over there, Quan. I know he's from the Cameroon, but, you know, when these guys migrate, huh? Not immigrant, but migrate to other places in the world, and they want to have an adopted hometown, you got to let them, huh? Y'all accepted Errol Spence being in Texas, huh? When he was from the East Coast, huh? See how you guys, you stand up for one and don't stand for the other, huh? You guys got all this mismatch kind of energy, man. You got to be on code all the time. We the only folks that ain't on code all the time. And it's part of the reason is you can't even get on code to hit Stormyman's like button. But you be here, huh? And you be listening, huh? And disagreeing, huh? And mean mugging the screen. Like, you know, that's going to put some fright in somebody or something, huh? Your ugly faces mean mugging what I'm saying out here. But you ain't taking in the intellectual property, huh? You ain't paying attention to the lesson, which is why you earn the F pluses. Yeah. Yeah. Shower says, Canelo been ducking in Billy. He's been a Mando. Yeah. He was a Mando before Benavidez left the division. And Benavidez was a Mando before that. And Morrell was a Mando for the WBA. But how is Canelo still holding the belts? Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah. You know, but this is what it is, huh? And so when you come around the answering bell show on this day, You got a mean mug on your face. Mean mugging me, but I ain't the one that's stalling off the fights that you need to see. You know, I ain't the one holding it up. So y'all look at me like that and be trying to send that energy to me like that. But I'm like Captain America with his vibranium shield. You understand? I'm repelling all that mess right back at you, because guess what? It ain't me, it's y'all. Because y'all won't go out there and get on the case of these other scribes and everything, and these channels that be trying to protect these guys, like the red-headed cheater. Yeah, he's red-headed and he's a cheater. He's a pop dirty. Matter of fact, his trainer got the most dirty poppers in the damn sport of boxing of today, and ain't nobody made no videos about him except for me. And y'all don't even want to watch the videos because the views is low, because I'm talking about your bro. Yeah. Dirty poppers. Reynoso gym. You walk into the gym and all you hear is that sound that popcorn make when it's popping in the microwave, and then you smell something funny and it smells like butt crack. Because that's where they taking the injections, right in their ass over there in the Reynoso gym. That's what it is. So if you're going to mean mug something, have that Snoop Dogg mean mug on your face when you walk over there into the Reynoso gym in Mexico. Yeah. That's what you should get mad at. Getting mad at me. And I'll tell you something else, like Snoop Dogg say, I don't love them hoes when they come out there with all juiced up. He gonna be juiced up when he fight Bud in September. That's why they ain't fighting in Saudi, because Canelo, he only taking the fight so he can fight in America so he can juice up. Yeah. But y'all can get mad all you want to. I don't care, man. I really don't care. I just want to see what happens. And you saw how when Ryan didn't have his pads, how he looked against Rolly. And you saw how Fury looked against Usyk when he didn't have his pads, and how he looked against Ngannou when he didn't have. I thought Fury was a knockout puncher, y'all. I thought he was, Sweet and Low Hill showed him how to turn his shots over, and get people out of there to punch properly. I never knew, after all these years of hearing the great trainers of yesteryear and lore always remind you that you can't coach height and you can't coach power. So Sweet and Low found a way to go through the crates of history and prove all of those guys wrong by teaching Tyson Fury to punch with power. Really? Really? You think I'm believe that bullshit? Really? This is what I think of Sugar Hill teaching Tyson Fury to punch with power.
I left your ass blowing in the breeze. Shh, don't you ever.
Yeah, that's where he should go, right off the hill, in a car fire, as Drew would say. Yeah. Teaching somebody power. Man, if you don't get all the way the hell up out of here with that foolishness. Next, we gonna see a coach that claimed to teach height in basketball. I can't wait to see that lie. can't wait to see that. Yeah. And of course, on Friday night also, we had the return to the ring of the Bronze Bomber as he went in there and went upside Terrell Herndon's head to the degree that Herndon had to check it in by round 7. He couldn't take no more, and the ref got tired of picking him up off the floor without calling them knockdowns. So we got a chance to see Deontay for a few extra rounds. It's okay. D deserved the rounds, he deserved the victory, and he deserved the opportunity to come back on the lower circuit because he had been taking it to task for all these other dudes out here, that don't want to step up to the plate. So D does what he does, and it's good, It's good, and we accept. But these other fools, nah. I ain't cutting them no slack. No slack. That's right, Shower needed to knock the rust off, He gonna knock something else off when he get a couple more bouts under his belt. Watch. See, because you can't coach power. You can't. But it was nice to see him out there boxing, using the jab, not rushing anything, taking his time. What's that girl used to sing? Take your time. Yeah. Yeah, take your time, D. Bust heads wide open, And we'll sit there for the entire duration, no matter how long it take, Yeah. Yeah. So Stormy is here in total support of Deontay Wilder and his dialed back comeback. That's right. And he gonna whoop them all. Yeah. That's what it is. That's right. Shower the SOS band. That's right. Yeah. So, well, we got the lines is open. You knuckleheads that's out there that think you know something about boxing, feel free to call. And for my loyal subjects, feel free to call so we can talk about them, Because the one thing that people were trying to do, they was trying to say that Deontay is washed up and everything. I didn't see no soap suds on Deontay when he was out there with Herndon, But I did see soap suds on Fury when he was in his last match with Usyk, and I saw him on AJ when he was in there with Dubois, I had to clear my screen of the suds that was all over my screen watching them. D paid his cost already. That stoppage against Zhang, who was somebody else's responsibility, he took it on. Even though he had injuries and other things going on, he still got in there and ended the bout on his feet. Where did Fury end his bout? In a bar. And then where did AJ end his bout? Bottoms up. Yeah. Go for what you know. Yeah. See, listen. You can't make this stuff up. But you got these guys out here, that be saying stupid stuff. The Sean Zittels and all them guys and Radio Raccoon. Listen, you guys get on your channels and you think you talking boxing, man. You're talking from a very small corner of voice, But why when you get in front of the actual fighters that you say all this denigrating, ridiculous remarks about, then you are, hey, how you doing? And all that, man, keep that stuff over there where you at, Stop misleading the people with your foolery. That's right, Shower D was doing all the heavy lifting. He was doing all the heavy lifting, man. Okay, we got 470 in the building. Welcome to the show. Who's calling? What's on your mind?
Salute, Brother Stormy. It's Coach Hudson.
Hey, Coach Hudson, what's happening, brother? How you feel?
Man, I'm good. How about yourself, brother?
Well, I'm still trying to get my energy back. I don't usually work 6 days a week, but I work 6 days this week, and it's taking a toll on me, man. So I'm just trying to, make it through, but I'm here. I'm here.
Health is wealth. Make sure you're taking care of yourself first, brother, because we want you to keep on cooking.
Yes, sir.
Now, I wasn't going to bring up Sean's name, but let me tell you, since you brought up Sean's tale, an old radio raccoon name,
let's talk about it, brother. Let's talk about it.
I just got to say this to the family. Nobody else needs to vouch for Sean's tale. Not another one of us needs to vouch for Sean. And this is why. I watched a video of him from 4 years ago where he was saying that Devin Haney will be the next great pound-for-pound champion. As soon as it looked like it was the new norm to lynch Devin Haney in the media, he also jumped on that train with Radio Raccoon doing that interview that Drew Titan did a live on a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Then I seen Sean do another interview talking about what did he say? He said Brian Norman Jr. is more humble than a Keyshawn Davis, and I like how more of a southern man. I said, hold on, wait a second. See, this is what happens when we allow MFers to get too comfortable. Who are you to sit up there and tell us who you like because they're more humble according to you? Who has given you this authority where you feel the need to tell us who you like and dislike as far as our Black American fighters are concerned in their humbleness? And this is before the incident even happened with Keyshawn and his last fight. And as soon as I heard that, the first thing I thought about was the old Jim Lampley and the old Larry Merchant. You see, they worked their way to saying the crazy stuff they were saying. They started young when they were around us, among us. They were vouched for by some of our fighters. They were protected by some of our fighters. And like always, they get too damn comfortable, and then they start this. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't want anybody to vouch for him again.
Listen, brother, let me tell you something. The one thing that I don't do is I don't try to initiate stuff to go back and forth online. But I have to speak frankly about the foolishness. You understand? Which is why I did mention. And then like yesterday, I mentioned that moron who's out there on the West Coast that's always got dark shades on. Everybody know who I'm talking about. And then that other moron that's noted and got the nickname the Taco Hat Fool. See, these guys are out here misrepresenting, man. Just like Sean and Raccoon. And see, I had to say something because again, now when you talk about humble, you know that that's a code word, right? For being a submissive N-word. That's what that is. That's what humble. When they tell you, when Muhammad Ali was 22 years old, whooping on Sonny Liston and becoming the youngest heavyweight champion of the world at that time, when he was out there and he was talking in front of the microphone and he was telling white folks about themselves and he was telling fighters about themselves and he said that I'm the resurrection of the fight game, bringing a call back to Jack Johnson, okay? But younger, fresher, handsome. Not that Jack Johnson wasn't handsome, but I'm saying these were Ali's attributes. Fast, could fight, big, strong, youthful. And when I say strong, I'm not talking about strong with his body strength. I'm talking about his spirit and his heart. What's made his substance within him. He was a strong, constituted man. They were saying at that time he need to be more humble and all of this. They wanted him to be buck broken. That's what they wanted, huh? And so
Right.
these fools out here, when they say words like that, and these ninjas go out there and they listening to him, and they, oh, well, he's talking good stuff. No, he's not. He's talking against you, and me. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I say what I say. But understand, again, I don't have to dwell, because when I speak what I speak on it, I'm done. And I can stand on what I'm saying because it's the truth and it's facts. I don't have to go back and retell. I don't have to remember what I said and try to go back and research. I'm telling you what it is. That's why I say all the time on my channel, my message ain't for everybody, because everybody ain't going to make it. Huh? How many times when you come through the school system, you getting your lesson, and there was somebody out there always missing class, always didn't bring their homework and their supplies and everything, and you see people getting left back and stuff like that, and you going on with your studies. They trying to copy off your homework. They trying to, hey, brother, you got an extra piece of paper? Can I share your book with you? And you're like, man, get off me, man. It's like, get your own. What is your problem? Those people become adults too, just like you. You understand? People don't think about that. And guess what? They out here in the world just like you. Huh? So when you see that fool that cut you off in traffic doing stupid stuff, and he got his cell phone in front of his face like this, and he driving and doing stupid stuff, or when you driving out like I do in the morning on my commute to work, and I'm going down the street, the sun ain't even came up yet, but I'm smelling weed. And it's coming from the dude driving in front of me. He got his windows down. What you got the windows down for? I thought you liked that smoke. Keep your damn windows up. Because I'm getting this shit and I'm inhaling and I'm choking and I'm trying to go to work clear-headed. You done started the day off high, and you done had weed for breakfast. I ain't had my toast and eggs yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but all of this foolishness that surround us. And then you got people who are indoctrinated into this bull crap by the Zettels and the raccoons and all of them. It's like, and y'all run to these guys. You run to them for your information. You don't run to Stormy B, man. You run to those fools. Help me be dumber. Huh? That's what you go. That's what you do. And I'm out here saying, look at this foolishness. But they'll come over here and they'll kind of peep, huh? Like I say, through the blinds in the bushes, won't hit the like button, huh? But they here. What you here for? Why? There's no weed here, huh? There's no fuckery here, huh? There's no foolishness here. So what is it? Seriously, I'll tell you what it is, Coach and chat. They have a job to do. You ever see The Matrix and you talk about Agent Smith and those people? That's who they are. They trying to keep the system. They trying to hold the line for the system. When we're trying to be like Morpheus and Neo, and we're trying to break the system. We're trying to break free. We're trying to free our people, and they trying to hold it down. That's why it's a battle. And you have to fight this battle. You cannot sit on the sidelines idly by. You can't.
But you know what, Sensei? The issue is, they know this, but it's a lot of our own people who are running to them and supporting them that don't see what the long game is. These are agents of chaos every single time. And what we have to understand is they can't get through the door unless we let them through the door. There is no Vlad TV during the 90s. There is no Adam 22 during the 90s. Speaking on our black culture like they are some ambassadors of it, because our elders back then would not have allowed. The only reason why Sean Zettel can sit next to Sean Porter and talk about Floyd Mayweather the way they talk about is because they allow it. The only reason why Max Kellerman, who was called back to one of the biggest fights in the last 10 years, is because we allow it. The only reason why a Larry Merchant can sit up there and allow something to come out his mouth and say is this the last great black hope? Is because we have allowed them to feel comfortable enough to do it, and we keep falling for the same trick. What we need to understand, family, is that in the sport of boxing, this art that imitates life, if a person does not have enough talent to actually get in the ring, does not have the skill set or talent to be a coach or a officiant or even tell it truthfully how it is, they become parasites and they latch onto a host that gives them the nutrients they need, and then when they are strong enough, they flip on us every single time, and we fall for it. Stop getting someone who is friendly confused with someone who is an ally. Howard Cosell was an ally of Ali. Jim Lampley and Larry Marchand are not allies of ours. And we let these guys, they start off the same way Sean Zattel did. We let them get next to us. We allow them around. When they come into the media, we can't wait to smile into their face. We don't support our own the same. We do not go on our channels the same way. If we see a non-melanated media personnel in the crowd, we run to them and then we talk to ours crazy, or we don't talk to them at all. Like we have this personal beef. Well, these are the consequences when we do that, brother.
Yeah. And they groomed Max Kellerman too. They groomed him.
Mm-hmm.
Them two old dinosaurs, Merchant groomed Lampley, Lampley groomed Kellerman. And Merchant, as quiet as it's kept, Merchant and Lampley didn't even like each other. But they still stood as a united front to talk about your people, your fighters, huh? And if Ali were around, you know what he would tell these guys. You heard Larry Holmes tell them to their face. Bernard Hopkins had to tell him, Larry, don't be ignorant, huh? When he was asking, Bernard, why are you fighting all of these guys that are not, you know, the top fighters or whatever? And he said, Larry, don't be ignorant. I worked hard to achieve undisputed status. And they position these guys as a #1 contender or whatever. And I'm defending #1 contendership because if I don't, they're going to strip my title away. A title that I worked hard and labored for, they'll take it away. But why aren't you guys talking about how these guys get to be #1 contenders?
Peace.
You see? And he wouldn't say anything about that. Same with Roy Jones Jr. When he was the champ and Roy was already, you know, showing his prowess to be a guy that looked almost unbeatable, and they were nipping at his ankles, always saying little snide remarks and stuff. And Roy was like, look, when we come out here and they try to say somebody is ready to challenge me and I do away with them and make it, he's like, what that line in his song? They say I ain't fought nobody, but I just make them look like they nobody. And he say, you, him, he pointed at Larry Merchant, him and the rest of y'all that be saying this stuff about me. He was like, but we talk, Pensacola talk. This is what we do. Roy was saying it too. But these guys of the day, they don't know. You want to get behind Floyd. Floyd said the truest thing when he said that HBO should fire your ass because you don't know shit about boxing.
That's what he told him.
That's what he told him. And then Larry got so angry that the only thing he didn't do was call Floyd the N-word on the air. But he was like, if I was 50 years younger, I'd kick your ass. Do you know how mad, angry, possessed, demonized that old crypt keeper had to be to say that to Floyd?
Oh, yeah, he was mad. But, hey, Sensei, he wasn't saying that when Foreman had to save him. He wasn't saying that when the fight broke out in
the Garden, yeah. When Galata and Bo fought, yeah, the riot.
Yeah, and Foreman had to say they behind. Y'all wasn't swinging in. Y'all wouldn't get down in. Everybody was fighting in. The only person they didn't run up on was Foreman. And the only reason why y'all could walk around today and say the things that they say, and Jim Lampley can sit up there and scream out. Now, this is how crazy this is. And this is what people need to understand. People talk about They get mad at Bill. Bill this, Bill that. Watch this, family. Bill knew that, because first of all, I don't understand when Shane Mosley gets around Victor Ortiz and them. I don't know if he think he Mexican or what. But see, Bill knew to tell his son, you fight comfortable and you fire when you feel comfortable to fire. Because at that event, you could hear in the ring the announcer's table.
Right.
It was like they're sitting right there because
Right.
it wasn't a real crowd. So imagine you are a year off. You go into the ring. Of course, you have a little nerves because of what happened before. As soon as the fight starts, you have Tarver and Jim Lampley screaming, what is Devin doing? They were trying to psychologically throw him off from round one. And for that, I will never respect Jim Lampley, and I will never forgive Tarver for that, because they knew exactly what they were doing, and they knew he could hear him. And my question to everybody is since you can answer this, where is everybody going to go with all of these black American fighters who look like they're coming up and are winning again? Not only are they winning by points, they're coming up and stopping people. Where are you all going to go? Your channels have been made off of hating off on top black fighters. So what are you all going to do? And when they try to come back among us, how should we handle that, brother?
Listen, check this out. Only to add to what you were saying, just last night with Paul versus Chavez Jr., where was Tarver and his criticism of Chavez Jr., who was not putting on a professional effort? He was not fighting. Where was the criticism? That's a Mexican guy. The crowd was totally for Chavez Jr., and he wasn't even throwing punches. Now, where was the criticism? You see, because you could get away with saying that I'm on the level if you said something. But because you didn't say anything, you look like a damn Sambo. Because that was the time to say something, right? Because Chavez Jr. was not giving an effort. And then in the last 2 rounds of the fight, when he decided to punch, it looked like he could have knocked Paul out if he had started from opening bell.
Yep.
And salute to our brother Blue Blood, who put it out there about being on Google, and Google, before the fight had ended, had already announced that Paul was the winner.
Come on, talk about it.
Meaning that it was a fix. It was a fixed situation. Now, are all boxing matches fixed? No. But there are fights that are being controlled. And this was one of them. And when you see a fighter like Chavez Jr., and he doesn't put forth any effort whatsoever, and then in the last round and a half, because he started it halfway through round 9, he's throwing these shots and stuff all of a sudden. And I'm like, holy. And he was hurting Paul. I was like, this dude done went the whole fight and didn't fight. And they didn't say nothing, sitting ringside. That was crazy. But the thing about it was, Paul, he's existing because of y'all. Because of these people out here who don't exercise the voice that you could have in lieu and support of boxing in the proper manner. All I can hear online all the time now is this going against Bill and Devin Haney. It's very strong, and it's coming from a certain place. And now that Brian Norman Jr. is having success with his career, and Brian Norman Sr. being a dad that's involved in the most positive of manners, they're trying to feed y'all that there's some type of rivalry between the two. There's no rivalry. The only rivalry is the competitiveness of the sons competing in the sport, but not as the men and their character. So don't try to buy into these things that they're trying to give, like to separate you. Because y'all didn't want to separate Canelo when he said, I represent all Mexicans. You didn't want to you didn't want to jump in and separate that and put the fan the flames on his ass to face David Benavidez, or at least David Morrell, or lesser still Christian and Billy. You didn't put the heat on him for that.
Come on.
But these two men, if Brian and Devin fight, it's great for boxing because they're two good fighters. But it's what the dads have done that is the negative thing by the society and the powers that be. Because guess what? There's something about independence there, being separated, and this whole thing about humbleness. I told you what it was a key word for earlier. Bill is never going to be so-called humble. There's no reason for a man who makes his claim and builds his path and his journey, what he's got to be humble about.
Come on.
His hands don't look like cups to me. They look calloused and they look worn from working. That's a man. Do you understand? You're not going to humble a man who has given his sons and his daughters tools to be successful in life. So much to the degree that y'all dummies out there don't even know that you're supposed to sign up with him. How can I be down? How can I learn to come up? How can I get on this path like that? Instead, you want to go on these shows with these minstrels out here and say things negative about the man, and oh, he's a liar, and what kind of bull crap is he on today, and this and that. He's on there today, yesterday, and gonna be on there tomorrow because he's trying to get a message out to you numbskulls, but y'all asleep. If he was coming on there and he was passing out Black and Miles or Philly Blunts and everything, y'all would love the hell out of him.
That's right. Teachers.
Tell me, am I telling a lie or not?
You're not telling no lie, and people need to make sure that they don't let it go over your head what you're saying. You see, the fix is already in. The powers that be, they see Brian Norman Sr. They see Bill Haney. They see Floyd Schofield's father. They see the Mason's father. They see these black father-son family duos are about to be a problem. So you know what they're going to do, family? Because the others, they are about to lose their views, and the channel's about to go down if our fighters take the sport back over. You know, it's been a struggle the past 10 years of the casual fan, the race fan taking over the sport and the narrative. But the fighters that we have lined up are about to be a problem. So like the great teacher, Brother Stormybman just said, do not allow them to turn us against each other with this Devin versus Brian Norman Jr. fight. It's nothing more than boxing competition, but they're going to try and make it past that because they're going to want us to war with each other because their worst nightmare. I have a picture of Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward, Floyd, Andre Ward, Shakur Stevenson, Terrence Crawford, they're all standing together. They have a nightmare. Imagine if all top black American fighters walked out at the same time as Crawford and said, because of the racism, because of the no running rule, this will be the last year that top black American fighters fight each other. We want nothing but non-black fighters as our competition moving forward. It would take all power away from them. Not only that, all black fighters that are turning pro, we want people like Bill Haney and Jay Prince to be in all of our deals moving forward, speaking on our behalf or being advisors. That would be a nightmare for the powers that be. So they have to turn us against each other, and we have to stop disputing on the smallest things and see what is coming. Listen to the sensei when he says, don't let them turn us against each other. Just keep keep it boxing when it's Devin versus Brian Norman Jr. But remember who the real enemy is in the sport of boxing. That's a good teaching, Sensei.
Absolutely. And let me say this. These fools are so dim-witted that it takes a woman like Clarissa Shields to stand up and say the things that need to be said properly and support properly. Clarissa has always been down 10 toes for her brothers that are fighting in the sport of boxing. And the brothers don't even think or even congratulate or appreciate what she has done. She shows up at everybody's fights. They don't show up at hers. She shows up at pressers and everything and support. They don't show up for her. But she is the one figure in women's boxing that has brought the money that the women are getting right now is because of her. Even if she's not getting it herself, because there's no support for her in the proper manner. She's getting ready to fight. And where's her love and support? Where is it? You see, this is what I'm talking about. When a woman can come out and shame her own men for not having cojones, for not being spirit-driven men. When Ali was facing the government, there was a litany of professional black athletes who stood by him. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, baseball players. You had football players like Jim Brown. All of them men stood right there with him. With him. Where are you suckers now? You got fighters who got names in the sport. It don't mean that they're the best, but they got names and they look like minstrels. Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson. These guys, they look like minstrels out here. What are they doing? Now, Shakur got a fight coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be a tough opponent for him. Yes, he should be favored to beat the guy, but don't be surprised if the fight is harder than it should be. But look at what he's done to himself with his shitty behavior, which is why I call him shitty because if he were standing in the truth and merit of where he's supposed to be, he could get the love and adornment and support that he's supposed to have. But all he has shown himself to be is a turncoat and snake. And he's been doing it for a long time. This ain't just something new. It goes even back before he fought Jamel Herring. And he was doing it to Jamel. It's like, where is this thing that's supposed to be there about men being together as brothers? You do this for a living, so you break bread and you can earn a living for that. But it's like, and all of the fighters don't have to be brothers, but there has to be a certain level of respect for what you do for a living. We just saw Floyd Schofield yesterday in an amazing upset win for himself, and it's an upset because of how it came about. He stopped Tevin Farmer in one freaking round, blitzed him, but had pain for having to do that to his friend, because they are friends, they're acquainted. But he understands the business of it, but he made sure he professed that that's still my brother. I still love him, and I still want to be friends with him and everything. Now, I know Farmer is embarrassed. So where's the love and the respect for Farmer for getting in there against that young lad and having that happen to him? See, there's a certain amount of respect that's just due because they do what they do. I talk about that all the time as well. Because everybody is not going to go in there and get punched in the face for a living. So you have to have a respect for the ones that do it, and also have respect for those who failed in their efforts. It's easy to celebrate triumph, which is why I always keep this one particular meme in my queue, and I play it from time to time. It's from Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon with Han talking to Jim Kelly. I'll play it right now.
We are all ready to win. Just as we are born, knowing only life. It is defeat that you must learn to prepare for.
That right there is a quote. Now, I know there are many people who have seen this movie, Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee was very popular. However, I talk about words being powerful. That is probably the most profound line of dialogue in that film. We are all ready to win, just as we are born, knowing only life. But it is defeat that we must learn to prepare for. How to man up when you face troubled times, trials, to be able to come back and stand up justly. Perseverance, have and develop a resolute of conflict resolutions, to be able to solve problems and issues. It's very important for our lives. And you're not living an enriched existence until those facets become a part of your life.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And it also speaks to the greatness of Deontay Wilder. All he's been through for him to, even just come back, man, and be fighting again and still standing on his square.
Yeah.
That brother, hey, I'm going to, no matter what he do, I'm going to support him. Same thing with Clarissa Shields. Whatever she does, I'm going to be right there supporting her. And if Shakur is not careful, because I feel like Shakur does not have people around him to say, all right, brother, look, we got to go ahead and we got to get this train moving. Because if he's not careful, he's going to be another, what's the brother's name that had to fight David Benavidez too late?
Demetrius Andrade.
Yeah, they're going to do him the same way. And he'd be another talented fighter that didn't, get the fight that he needed to get. And you sitting there in the crowd, I was disgusted when I saw Shakur cheering for Ryan.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That kind of thing right there, brother. You're not going to see one freaking Mexican cheer for Terrence Crawford when Canelo gets in the ring with him. Not one.
Not one.
And there could be a Mexican that likes Terrence Crawford. There could be a Mexican woman that may have slept with him and everything. Do you understand? But you will never see them openly endorse Crawford beating. And if they asked in an interview, they're going to say, I got Canelo. Well, why? Yeah. Well, I support Canelo. That's all they got to say.
That's it. And we all understand. Even the brothers say, hey, support the next.
But how many of these fools are out here already? I just don't see how Crawford could do it. I just don't see how. Man, shut up! Mm-hmm. I don't see how you can look in a mirror every day. I don't see how you have people who love you. I don't see how you still alive. Running around here with that damn idiotic mindset that you have. Love everybody else but your own.
Come on, love everybody else but your own. And sister, you know what? I just thought about something. Now watch this hypocrisy. Now they call Julio Cesar Chavez one of the greatest fighters, correct?
Yeah.
Now imagine if Floyd Mayweather had a son who pulls the same crap, the same stunts that Julio Cesar Chavez son pulled, Chavez Jr. pulled. If Floyd Mayweather had a son that went against Jake Paul and got beat, we would have brothers online right now dragging that brother. But you know what? Ain't none of them online dragging Chavez Jr. You know why? Because they are spineless brothers and they only have hate and smoke for other brothers that look like them. And they hate when you call them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
They hate it. And it's just like in that movie Get Out. in that movie Get Out, when the brother would take a picture and that flash would go through their eyes, and they would go back to their consciousness and start shaking and trying to tell the brother to get out, get out, get out. It's the same thing with these Sambo-minded brothers and sisters, whether they on YouTube, whether they on television. They don't see until it's time for them to get their wake-up call. And then when they get their wake-up call, they want to call racism. And it's just like, hey, I hate to say this, but I support Bud. But Bud had got a wake-up call when he got into it with Bob. And what made it even so bad is Bud had defended Bob before and said, you all don't know Bob like I do. You all don't know Bob's heart. And what did Bob do after that? Still got on national television and said Terrence Crawford is hard to sell. Then, on top of that, says, well, I stopped the fight with Manny Pacquiao from happening because Manny's my friend and I didn't want him to get hurt. Now, that's somebody you need to have smoke with because he literally put a block in front of your legacy. He literally made it hard for people or made it where people didn't want to sign you or work with you because this man is putting a mark on your record, a mark on your business attributes, but you're not going to have that much smoke for him. See, our brothers got to see the long game. Just because a man is smiling in your face and he gave you a paycheck, that don't mean nothing because if he gave you $1 million, he making 30 million. If he gave you 10 million, he making $500 million. You all have to wake up and see that just because somebody's giving you money don't mean they give a damn about you. Because sharecroppers got something too, but it don't mean that they had your best interest at heart. And you all have to wake up and listen to what the elders are saying.
That's right, 1,000%. And just like Bob saying that Crawford is hard to sell, but you're the promoter. You've been in the game over 70 years, damn near. Yeah. You should be able to sell him to a person that ain't got $1 to buy.
There you go.
Do you understand? So you're not fooling me by your rhetoric, because I know your rhetoric is bullshit. You've been in the game for 70 years. But you're saying you can't sell him. If you can't sell fighters like him, you wouldn't be in the game for 70 years. So I call upon you to do your damn job, Mr. Promoter. Because it's not his job to get out there and sell himself. Even though that's what you were telling people. Oh, well, he needs to go out and sell himself. He needs to talk to them. No, he doesn't need to do that. Just like Devin doesn't need to do it because that's his dad's job. See, people forget this part. DHP, Bill is the mouthpiece because he not only runs this with his son, but he's the mouthpiece for whichever fighters that are fighting under that want him to do that aspect for them. Devin can concentrate fully on his responsibilities as a fighter, and Bill will handle the publicity, the promotion, and also the structure of anything regarding access to the fighter. That's his job. So when people are sitting up here talking about Bill and saying these negative things about them, they don't understand the full value of that thing, which is called compartmentalization. You understand?
Come on.
Instead of paying people to do these things, it's all in-house with them. Now, I will go back to something else that I've said that went over a lot of people's heads over the past couple of years. Yeah, 2 fighters who needed to make a change in their lives as far as going with a new promoter and whatever, and both of them made poor decisions by aligning themselves with former slave traders in matchroom boxing. That's Jerron Boots Ennis and Shakur Stevenson. Now, how? I will tell you how. You hear how these numbskulls are out here talking about Bill. Oh, Bill talks too much. Bill is always lying. Bill is doing this and Bill is doing that. And not that Bill has lied at all. Bill has been extremely transparent with a lot of things, and then he's kept things that are supposed to be kept close to the vest regarding negotiations and dealings and things of that nature. He's kept that sacred as it's supposed to be. But
Right.
is Ed Hearn one of the biggest liars in the sport of boxing?
Yep.
Okay, where are all the videos? Where are all the interviews? Where are all the people with the fervor and the aggression and the disrespectful speak against Ed Hearn? Where is it? He got two of your black fighters, two of the most talented black fighters, and he's ruining their careers. Right before your eyes. Where is the rhetoric? Do you see what I talk about and why I call them numbskulls? Because if either one of them or both would have signed up with Bill Haney, they would have gotten more positive press, more positive promotion, more positive access than they have ever received before. And guess what? Even though the two of them, not so much Shakur now, but a little more possibly with and probability with Jerron, that they could one day even face Devin, it doesn't matter. Does Bob not have two fighters under the same roof that are going to fight each other? Does Golden Boy have two fighters under the same roof that'll fight each other? Does Matchroom have fighters, Queensberry, and so forth and so on? Absolutely. But when you sign to someone who can operate in your best interest, that is what you're supposed to be in the game doing. But you numbskulls, fighters, are listening to these numbskulls, scribes, and podcast men and creators out here helping you destroy your own careers.
Your own career.
Speaking against a black man that has shown you how to do it and get it done. Which is why I'm very proud to hear Brian Norman Sr. say positive things about Bill, because Bill is even leading the pathway for him. You understand? So he's not totally going in disrespect, but you could almost see with every interview that fool Ness does with him and everything, he's always trying to get Brian to say something negative about Bill.
Like an agent.
You don't hear people trying to get Frank Warren to say negative stuff about Hearn or Bob Arum. Oh, Bob, do you think that Frank is, really a gangster and, he's a liar to the fighters? You don't hear those stupid questions to those guys.
Never. Come on.
But the disrespect lies in with Bill, because Bill also has something that a lot of fighters today could benefit from, because the older guy is no longer around like he used to be, and that's Don King. He has charisma like Don. Bill has charisma.
Yeah, he does.
But these fools, they don't understand that. And I say it again, when you talk about compartmentalization, DHP should be incurring visits from a lot of these young fighters who want to grow, because they have the access. They have relationships with all of the major promoters. Devin has fought for almost everybody.
Yep, everybody.
And still has his independence. And still has a solid bank account.
And they hate that, Sensei. They hate it. They want all of them to be sharecroppers.
Exactly.
They rather be a sharecropper than have their own way. And Universal Truth pointed out a good point. They said Bob sells fighters that can't even speak English. But he wants to say a fighter like Terrence Crawford.
Did I just but check it out, Coach Hudson. Did I just not break that down simply with what I said a moment ago? He been in the business for 70 years. And if he couldn't sell a fighter like Bud, he wouldn't have been in the damn business for 70 years, would he? So that's a lie. That's a lie, isn't it? It's a fucking lie.
Yep.
But did I call him a liar? No. I showed you he's a liar. By saying he's been in the business for 70 years. Remember, I could be selling hamburgers, but if don't nobody like them, I'm going out of business.
Talk about it. Point it out.
Huh? That's how that works.
Y'all get this medicine. Get this medicine. Stormy said, Stormybman, the sensei, he is saying, I don't have to call nobody a liar. I'm showing you where the MF a lie. And some of you brothers and sisters who get up here calling Bill this and that, he the one that's trying to show you how to get your own land. But y'all still want to be sharecroppers, trusting somebody you never should trust. And what I did not know, that the brother Night Train said, he said, Peace Stormy, remember Bob tried to stop Ali versus Foreman after he couldn't get fully involved. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He tried to stop it. But guess what? Don was slick and Don was smart. And guess what? Don did what Don needed to do to make things happen. But remember, that was Don thinking about, and I have to say it just honestly, thinking about himself, thinking about entering the game. Mm-hmm. And he did it in a manner. This is how the deal really went down. He tell Ali, he tell George, because George was the champion. Listen, you getting $5 million, but don't tell Ali because he's only getting $2 million. And he go to Ali and tell him, hey, you're the man, you're the voice of the people and everything, the people's champ. You getting $5 million, but George getting $2 million. But don't tell nobody. Don't say nothing. And he was lying to both of them. Mm. But the deal went through and it went down and everybody broke the bank. Now, that's genius. But people like Bob think it's only supposed to be for them. Mm. It's called the fight game. The game requires players. The game is about winning and losing. The game will have those who are victorious and those who are not. Now,
listen, brother, I appreciate you letting me call in. I know some other folks want to call in, but I appreciate you letting me come in and cook. I got to head out, but I'm still going to be in the chat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling, Coach Hudson. Remember I said, this is home, brother. You can call in anytime, bro, when we have this show, man.
Always, brother. Appreciate you.
Right.
Peace.
Peace to you. Yeah. So as I was saying, there's got to be a winner and a loser. And you can believe that Bob Arum has won a great deal more than he's lost in this game of boxing. And that's important to understand that. But there's a lot of people who don't understand how this works, man. There's a lot of people that don't understand how it works. But just know that we are here to keep it with value. It's important. Lines are still open. We appreciate Coach Hudson for coming in and gracing us so we can have this great conversation and press forward, man. Yeah, so we here. Phone lines is open. Phone lines is open, man. Those cards yesterday Everything that went on before Paul and Chavez Jr. was quite entertaining. Quite entertaining, man. But y'all pay attention to that super middleweight that I'm talking about, Wilkins Matthew. Keep your eye and ears out for him. I want to see more of that kid. If you like the likes of Abdullah Mason, keep your eyes out on him because he's a talent of that ilk. Yeah. Just because you don't know someone doesn't mean they're not worth knowing, okay? That's why I keep telling you guys, watch the sport. Stop just zeroing in and dialing in on certain individuals because you're only short-sighting yourself. Short-changing yourself. Yeah. Okay, we got 323 in the building. Welcome to the show. Who's calling? What's on your mind?
Salute, Stormy. This is Freedom's March.
Hey, Freedom's March. What's happening, brother? How you feel?
Good, man. Good, man. Just out with the wifey, running some errands on the way to the house.
Yeah.
I call in.
No problem, man. No problem. What's on your mind? What you want to talk about? And don't worry, I got your information. You know, you told me to hit you up. Don't worry. I'll when I get a chance, I will.
Oh yeah, I got an idea. I think we'll work out pretty good, man. I think you'll like it too, man.
Yeah.
I'll chop it up with you about it.
Yeah, we'll chop it up. Yeah. What's on your mind?
Well, I want to talk about Wilder, man, and I just don't understand. Well, I do understand why people are coming down on Wilder, who is trying to get his footing back and get back in the game. And for somebody who's been out for a little bit and just came off of a knockout loss against a big, powerful, lumbering Chinaman, I think he looked pretty good. I mean, he got his feet back under him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He was boxing. He was using that jab, you know, and then you can see some of the old Wilder shining through when he started throwing them bombs, right?
Yeah.
But he just needs to keep working. I mean, that's all I see. You know, George Foreman, he came back. He was fighting at 45, and you know, Bernard Hopkins was fighting late in the stages of his life. And you know, people shouldn't just put people away because they see them lose. And that's one of the problems we're having in the sport in this day and age, where these so-called commentators, these so-called journalists are pushing this idea that if you lose, even if you lose by knockout, like, you can't come back. And that's a narrative that needs to change because so many great fighters have losses. Muhammad Ali, Hearns, Leonard, you know, all the four kings, right? How many times did Roberto Duran get sparked out? I mean, and they're still legends. They're still Hall of Famers, right? So, you know, it's actually rare for a Hall of Famer to not lose, right? You got Mayweather and Andre.
No. Hold on. Let me help you out there about what you just said.
Okay.
It's not so much that it's rare for Hall of Famers to have losses. Some of the losses, along with victories, are what made them Hall of Famers, brother.
Facts. Yes. Yep.
You see, because
that's absolutely true.
Because you have to have had something to measure their efforts against. You have to have some sort of test, trial, perseverance, a situation to overcome and resolve and solve within their careers. You don't just win and get in the Hall of Fame. It doesn't work that way. What has to happen is that you go through the merits of everything that the sport has to offer. And at some point, you are given a measuring stick of how you measured up against those who came before you. And then an assessment can be made based on that. Now, Floyd, who retired with a record of 50-0 and had faced a number of world title holders, just because it was that doesn't necessarily make him Hall of Fame. However, there are other aspects of his career. He's been one of the smartest fighters in the sport of boxing. The way he positioned himself to earn in the sport was a new model that the powers that be didn't even see coming, but he did it. And now they're working hellaciously so that that doesn't happen again. You understand? And then you still have certain individuals that he faced that gave way to elevating his status and consideration. But upon reflection, some of them aren't even as much as you would like to see or like to recall them being. But he's there. It is what it is. But again, it's based really on your contemporaries and who's around you, which is why Tank Davis is going to be in for a big surprise, because he's fought none of his contemporaries. None of the guys that you would like to see him fight, not because people want him to lose, but because he's very talented. And you would like to see that talent tested against others who are talented. Maybe some, maybe more, some, maybe less. But you would like to see those bridges crossed, because then you can make an assessment on where to place the guy in a pecking order of men to be ranked. You see what I'm saying? And that's very important. And as long as you don't face that, then I can't give you what you think you have earned or deserve. You know what I mean? I can't give that to you.
Can't do it at all.
Which is why Haney looks so. Which is why Haney looks so fearsome, and that's not fearsome like, oh, he could beat everybody's ass, but that little nickname that they recently came up calling him Debo, it's like because he's put a list together of guys that I just want to fight the best guys. You say that these are the best guys around. They're my contemporaries. I want to face them. And ain't nobody trying to get in the ring with him. Nobody. So what the hell is that? It says more about the individuals who are his contemporaries than it says about him. But he's catching all of the negative pub, though. All of it.
Yep.
To the degree that instead of talking about your favorite guys who don't want to face him, you're going to talk about him more. You're going to double down on him more. While the other guy, the racist guy, the drug cheat guy, the guy who don't want to face nobody, and the other guy who don't know if he want to be in this weight class or another weight class and all of this, you ain't giving none of them the grief that they supposed to receive. But you're going to double and triple down on him. And none of them put together a list of saying, hey, I would like this guy or that guy or whatever. None of them.
And
you
if
see,
they do put together a list, they forget that they was on the list in the first place.
But see, this is
I
what
never said that.
this is what Turkey this is what Turkey being a part of boxing has brought. You see, because remember, without Turkey, just imagine for the past 3.5 years if Turkey wasn't around, right? What was the excuse? Oh, he's on that side of the street. Oh, you got to call Al. oh, Bob need to make the deal or whatever, right? It's like you got these excuses where the fighters could hide behind a curtain, right? And shield because they be like, man, I'm the baddest in the world. Well, why don't you fight so and so? Tell them to call Al. I'm like, what? You say you the baddest in the world. I want to see you. You know what I mean? And you telling me to call Al or call Bob or call this one or call that one. What about you being the baddest in the world? You see?
No, you call Al. You call Al, tell him to send me an offer.
Yeah. So these kind of things. And then, you know, like when you're fighting for a certain promoter, let's use Top Rank. We know that Top Rank has this love affair with the WBO title. Don't matter the weight class, they got this love affair with them. So if you become a WBO title holder, and then there's a guy who has the WBA, and you want to unify against him, Bob ain't gonna make the fight. Why? Because Bob don't get no benefit out of it. If his WBO title goes to that guy in victory, then he loses something there. You see, with Turkey, that's why Turkey is telling you those belts don't mean nothing. Come over here and fight for the Ring magazine position, because that will say you're the best at the weight. Because not only are you going to fight this guy who had a title, but if you're victorious, you'll fight that one and that one and that one. And next thing you know, once we've put all those matches together as almost like a tournament type deal, the last man standing is going to be the man. And guess what? Along the way, you're going to be compensated financially in a manner of which that promoter had his foot on your neck and wasn't paying you. You see?
Well, I always felt like it should be tournament style for that top position, as opposed to, well, if we got 4 belts and then 4 champions, well, we ain't got to fight each other. We'll just fight. We'll fight voluntaries and mandatories and just keep doing that. Nah. Well, those 4 should fight it out, right?
Yeah.
One fights the other one fights the other one, and then the 2 winners fight each other, and then that's who gets the belt.
Right.
And you keep going like that. I mean, that's how I feel it should be done. But, you know, every 10 years they want to add a belt. You know what I mean? And make money off these fighters. That's really what it's about, in my opinion. You know, and it muddies the waters, because now it's like, well, this guy's a champion, that guy's a champion. Will they unify? They make concessions for fighters who want to unify. You know, you don't have to fight your mandatory, as long as they're not going to a first bid. You know, as long as the first bid isn't ordered. And even if the first bid is ordered, you can pay your mandatory a step aside money, and then you can unify. But now it's just too convoluted. It's too many. It's just too much. And all these different belts have all their little rules, and they take money and payola and all that stuff to move and maneuver people around through the rankings. Like, it's funny how people get up in the rankings when, you know, you got a guy that's in the number 4 position for years, getting bypassed by somebody who just came into the division, wasn't ranked, and then now they're fighting the number 2 guy and become the number 1 guy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's just like, check this out. In the heavyweight division, this is a perfect example of what we're talking about. You got, in a couple of weeks, you got Usyk and Dubois going to fight a rematch, and it'll be for undisputed. Okay? But they got this young kid, Moses Atuma, that they're just really, they just really talking about him. They want him to get a title shot within the next year or whatever, and they talking about this guy. But he's still young. He's only 20 years old. He ain't really fought nobody yet or whatever, right? But there's a guy who's been on this Riyadh season promotions, and he's been beating everybody they put in front of him, and he's been beating them, like stopping them, and they ain't talking about him enough. I just did a video on him a couple weeks ago. Ajit Kabiel. He's Russian. And guess what? Because he's from Russia, they're showing bias. They're showing prejudice against him. but he's good. He's good, bro. He stopped Zhang. He stopped Frank Sanchez. He been whooping people's behind, and ain't nobody talking about him.
And they sought him out.
And Joseph Parker is out there talking about, I need my title shot and everything. What, fool, you ransomed your WBO title to AJ and Matchroom a few years back when you should have been going for a unification with Deontay Wilder, and you ducked Wilder at that time. And then you got over there in Tyson Fury's camp, learned how to cheat and everything, and was a part of all of that foolishness when Fury was supposed to fight Wilder in the rematch, and he called the camp off because everybody caught COVID. Turned out that was a lie. When Joseph Parker showed up at a UFC fight event, and they was like, "What you doing here? I thought everybody had COVID in the camp." And he was like, nobody got COVID. What COVID? What you talking about? Yeah. So all of that foolishness that went on. Yeah. All that foolishness that went on. Right? So, but he think he's supposed to get a title shot again. And they thought they were going to get an easy path to it. Calling Bacoli in on 24 hours notice. 24! And he stopped the man early in the fight, 1 round knockout or whatever. But wait a minute. Hold on. Why Joseph Parker ain't fighting Adrian Cabiel? Uh-oh.
Scared.
Uh-oh.
You know what the problem?
You see what I'm saying?
If you're mentioning somebody that 90% of people don't even know about, Cabiel.
Of course, because they don't watch the sport. Yeah.
I don't even know how to spell his name offhand. So, and this is why guys like you are very important in the boxing space in general, because there are so many other people out there manipulating people and lying and just spreading nonsense that, you know, guys like you and like Shawa, y'all need, man, we need y'all in the boxing space with your voices, you know what I mean? And it's just so many people concerned about all the drama and whatnot. If they didn't have that drama, they wouldn't even care, right? But now that they're in the sport now, they're drawn in, and they need to be educated, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think, you know, people like you are very important. True boxing journalists that know what boxing is about. They watch all the fights. They don't just pick and choose. Because guess what? If these guys are up and coming and you're watching these fights, well, you've been talking about them for months and years, and then when they finally reach the pinnacle and they start getting those opportunities and start getting those title shots, well, you already know about them. You already knew. You've been telling people about them for years or months. And everybody else is just now hopping on the bandwagon. And then they get, you know, it gets lost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They get lost in celebrity. They get lost, and they start catering to casuals. And then all of a sudden, now they're acting like talking truck. So
that's just earlier in this show, I mentioned the kid from Quebec. I mentioned Wilkins Matthew, super middleweight. Keep your eyes out for that kid. He looks pretty damn good. You understand? Now,
I've never heard of him, obviously.
Exactly, because he's fighting out of Canada, and he fought on the Mbili undercard Friday night. And, you know, he speaks French and everything, but I'm sure he speaks English too. But he's a young super middleweight contending fighter. I think he's now 15-0 or 16-0. Had a great knockout in that fight because the guy he was fighting was a experienced fighter on his level and everything, and was a tough guy. He took him apart. And I said he's kind of have Abdullah Mason type talent, meaning the way he performs, he leaves you wanting to see more. You understand? This is why I do what I do, because I watch the sport. I can tell the difference between a guy that's just kind of being brought along and set up for y'all to fall in love with Moses Atuma, or a guy who might really have something, Abdullah Mason. You understand? I know the difference, bro. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't. It's just like a moment ago between the calls for you and Coach Hudson, I was beginning to talk about Floyd Schofield and his performance against Tevin Farmer. And the way that he did what he did against Farmer, it's like, whoa, Farmer just came off of 2 fights with William Zepeda. Now somebody is going to say, well, Zepeda took the fight out of him. No. When you look at what Schofield was able to do, dude, if he's cracking like that, if he's fast like that, or whatever, guess what? We got to reassess Floyd Schofield. You understand? And then you have to wonder, like, oh my goodness, what if he did fight Shakur? Do you understand? Because that was just a couple of months ago that he was supposed to fight Shakur. Now, mind you, I'm not trying to charge nobody up or put nobody down. What I'm saying is you have to be honest with yourself about the sport. Now, yeah, I ridiculed him and everything for the, laying in the hospital with the tubes and stuff. And I made jokes and fun like other people did. But guess what?
That was wild.
Right. But guess what? That performance from last night, last night, that performance, dude, you have to take your hat off to that kid. You have to take your hat off to him. Because Tevin Farmer is, and forgive my language for saying it, he's nobody's bitch, bro. He's not.
He's not.
And he had that. Do you know? And I said this earlier in this conversation. I had said Farmer and Schofield, they're friends. So you got to understand how Farmer must be really dejected today. You understand? Because it's like his pride, his ego, everything has got to be about 1/8 of an inch tall today, And people need
confident.
Right. And you gotta be that person to look at him and be like, you know what, Tevin, he just caught you clean and early, whatever, and it happens in boxing. But there's something else to go along with that I have to say about those performances. I noticed that there are not a lot of fighters today that come to the ring with a full frothing sweat.
They're not warming up.
Yeah. Hitting the pads in the dressing room is not warming up, bro. Hitting the pads in the dressing room is not warming up. You could jump rope. You could shadow box. There are a few different things you could do in the dressing room to really warm up where you get a sweat going. And I'm telling you, every time a guy takes off his robe, his T-shirt, or whatever he's wearing to the ring, you don't see no sweat on the guy.
That's a great point. It's important to be warmed up.
It's important because maybe if Farmer was really warmed up, he wouldn't have got caught like that and went out like that. You understand? Because
he had no reaction time.
Right.
At all.
It just you got to be warmed up. You got to be warmed up. And I didn't see either one of them with a sweat going. But I'm just saying he's the one that got hit on the chin early. You understand?
Yep. That's a great point. That is a great point. See, that's a great point, man. That no one, even myself, has considered. I haven't heard anybody but you mention that. But as someone who exercises and works out, and I also box, I know how important it is to warm up. But I didn't think about that at all. That's a great point.
Yeah.
You got to be warmed up.
Yeah, but see, these are the kind of things I know, and I don't pat myself on the back for knowing these things, but again, having the experience of understanding how things are supposed to go. There's a lot of guys getting away with a lot of things in today's boxing that just wouldn't fly in a former era, and they're getting by because people don't know how to safeguard against it. They don't know how to train for it. They don't know how to make proper preparation and things of that nature. And this is what's happening. I'm seeing it so much across the board. It don't matter what weight division it is or whatever. But it's like, I come on here, I say what I say. If you're listening, you'll learn something. But you go over here to these other channels where these guys they big channels with numbers of people that are coming in and they're talking a bunch of bullshit. You understand?
Yeah.
Controversial stuff that'll make people argue back and forth and, calling everybody the N-word at every other sentence and all that. Whatever, man. But where's your real knowledge of the sport? The real knowledge.
And imagine if they use the BS to draw people in and then educate them. They're not even doing that.
Because they don't have the knowledge.
Exactly.
So all it is BS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or either they have the knowledge, they just don't care to share it.
No, bro. No. They don't have the knowledge, bro. I'm telling you, because let me say this to you. And this is for you and everybody out here listening. And Coach Hudson, I believe, is still out there. If you are a man of intellect, the last thing you want to do is project ignorance.
True enough.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yep, I did. Yep.
Can you repeat that?
If you are a man of intellect, the last thing you want to do is protect ignorance. I agree.
Now, check this out. If you're projecting ignorance, where's the intellect?
Nowhere to be found.
And for someone like myself, if you're projecting ignorance, guess where I'm not going to be? Around you.
On your anywhere where you at.
Do you hear? Now, do you feel me? Am I making sense to you?
Yeah.
So, they out there listening to me. They won't support, they won't share, they won't hit the like button.
Right.
But what are they learning? Now, I've heard people say stuff like, well, Stormy, they'll come to you and learn your stuff and then they'll go have their own talking points. Listen, man. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. However, if it ain't in you, it ain't in you. Understand?
Yeah.
Authenticity is something to really hang your hat upon, brother.
Yeah. No, that's real talk.
I can come on this air. I've been on 2 hours already. It's like the time has flown. But I haven't lied to the people in one iota of this program.
No, sir.
And I've given gems to anybody who is able to catch them.
Yep.
But there's a lot that people will miss simply because they're not here in the proper frame of mind or with the proper sense of attentiveness. That's not my fault.
No, it's not your fault. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Nope. I agree, man. Like, you stay in your square, you stay with the integrity, and that's why I respect you. And you're not about to tailor yourself towards ignorance just to, draw people in. But the way you draw people in, the way you, gain subscribers or whatever it may be, these people value subscribers and views. But that's not where the value is. The value is in the message, right? So if the message is valuable, the people that value the message will come to you. And then they'll stay with you no matter what, right? But as soon as you lose what they came to you for in the first place, if there was no value in it, as soon as it goes away, they go away. So, the best way to build is brick by brick.
Right.
So, I agree. Yeah, you that's the best way to go about it. But yeah, man, much respect to you. I'm a get on off here. But thank you for letting me call in, man, and hit me up when you get a chance, and we'll talk.
Okay. Sounds good, brother.
Stay doing your thing, man. I appreciate you.
All right. Appreciate your call, man.
All right, man.
All right. Peace to you.
Peace.
All right. That's the Brothers Freedom's March calling in, showing some love and support with some great talking points. You know, that's what it's all about, man. I can't believe this 2 hours went by that fast. I started the show at 12:30. It's 2:30. The show is typically a 2-hour show, but my goodness, that time went by like a breeze. My goodness. Boy. So, man. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Wow. I hope you all were able to get something out of today's show. Call-in show. With what we were able to discuss. It's just been a real solid show, man. This is one of the best ones right here with the talking points that we had. Salute to Coach Nelson and Freedom's March for supporting and calling in on today's show. That's right, Ravens Nation. It was a nice show. Very nice show. Very nice show, man. So, we're going to hear from my man, the Focus Ball. Yeah.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit. Making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Yeah. So we've come to the end of another Answering the Bell with Stormybman. What a great show we had today. Great conversation, man. I love that. I love that. Being able to talk about the sport of boxing with you all. We could have gone for another hour easily because of the content and the subject matter. But we've got some fights coming up on the horizon. Some very good stuff to be paying attention to. I want you guys who are signed up for my Patreon to know that there will be a premiere tomorrow on Patreon. Not on my regular channel, but on Patreon. There's something with my I'm Offended series. Another video that will premiere tomorrow. And then we'll have another premiere on Wednesday. That'll be a premiere on my Kung Fu channel, where there will be a 8 a.m. premiere on the Kung Fu channel. So you guys, I'm working hard. I told you before, I'm working on everything on my Patreon, my Kung Fu channel, this main channel. There will be more Kung Fu content coming to you. So with that being said, we're going to get ready to get on up out of here. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you for tuning in.